Well, good morning, everyone. Again, we have our 8:30 news is out. Euro got a nice little plunge here, and again, this is looking more like a probe failure outside of that prior balance area here. We are at we are at where it needs to hold here. If in fact this is going to form a pivot for the euro, this level right here. This is 3664 area. All right. If this doesn't hold, see ya. Down we shall go. We'll go all the way back through this whole range here, back probably to Friday's lows, I would imagine, because there's nothing here in the way of any demand to hold this thing. Great distribution occurring after the news here, and that was one of our concerns. Remember, we said we couldn't hold back inside of that. We were going to have some problems, and sure enough, here we are with some problems here. So how far can this go is the question. Well, it's in free fall right now because everything that we had as far as any major volume nodes, the next one I've got really is there's a naked at 3600 on the daily. It's a long ways down there. So the euro in a free fall here, don't try to catch a knife, all right? Let it come down. Like I said, if it's going to hold, it needs to really hold by the end of the day against this level here on the euro, which is that 36, we'll call it 3660 number. That's about right where it's trading right now, maybe slightly below it. But this is where it would need to be able to hold in order for it to get some sort of a bounce. And still, the daily would still be intact as far as a higher low pivot if they wanted to come in here somewhere and hold this. This could actually turn into a larger balance area too, which means it could come rotate all the way back down to 3600 and create a larger balance area since this new. But this is kind of spooky because it didn't hold outside of that area, and it got pulled back into the prior balance area. That's sort of what we've been watching for on the S&P. The S&P daily, and this is again what I'm concerned about on the S&P. We've been talking about it. A probe failure outside of a balance here, and there's no follow through. If this gets pulled back inside of it, will open up the door. Number one, we've got gap fills down here to take care of 82 area. But if it comes back that far, and this is a failed outside of that balance area, this thing's going to come lower than that. We will come back through, as we've said the last few days, we're looking at the 53s and then even down to this arrow down here, which is that 1238 level. That's on the ES. So how we play out, as we've seen the last 2 days, there's been major distribution, more so even in the NASDAQ than there has been in the S&P in the overnight session. The ratio between that buyers and sellers has been heavily weighted to the sell side in the NASDAQ. And let's take a look at the NASDAQ daily. Here's the NASDAQ daily chart, and again, you can see that we're completely in a balance area with this one. Never did break out, never did make new highs. We still have a gap in this also down against this 8350 number from the other day. But it's in a balance area. This one never did give us the breakout per se and pulled back in. We could actually shift this a little bit higher. It's the and again, the volume that's been occurring has been all at the highs the last couple days in these markets for the new month, and it's starting to definitely flatline up here. News this morning was good. What did the market? How did the market respond to it? It didn't, did it? We're basically stagnating right where we're at right here without any sort of movement either upside or downside. They made actually the lows on both of these markets as the news came out, and we're not dropping any further here. So, value is being accepted right now in the S&P, and I can see this rallying back to the settlement price of the 20. Well, the settlement's 1300, but 1299.50 area. So we'll see what happens, and no major knee-jerk reaction. As we were looking yesterday, I would continue to focus in on shorting rallies if we can catch them back up in the top side. So stay safe and keep your powder dry. Wait for the right setup. And thank you for visiting Beyond Profile today.